Hello, today we're going to go through a Plagiarism and APA Refresher. My name is Emily McIsaac and I'm the Student Engagement and Instructional Librarian at Holland College, and you can email me at ermcisaac@hollandcollege.com. You can ask me questions about APA, searching, researching, databases, or your assignments, and I'll try my best to help you. The objective of today's session is to remind you why you should care about plagiarism and APA. Plagiarism has some serious consequences that I am going to remind you of, and APA is a common citation style used at the college, so that's important for you to know. We're going to start with plagiarism, because as the slide says, just don't do it, because it's not worth it. There are 5 types of plagiarism. And I'm going to start with the first one. Plagiarism of words is when you copy and paste information from one document and put it into your own without giving proper credit. All of the plagiarism aspects that are laid out on this slide are forms of stealing. We want to give credit to the people who've worked really hard in their field to create information that we are using. So by using your APA citation, you're giving them credit where credit is due. So plagiarism of structure is the second one, and that's closely related to paraphrasing. If you paraphrase incorrectly by restructuring or remixing someone's ideas and putting it into your paper, but you're not citing properly, then you're committing plagiarism of structure. Plagiarism of ideas is when someone has an idea about something that you are also interested in, but then you don't give them credit because even an idea is owned by somebody else. So make sure you credit people's ideas. Plagiarism of authorship is related to assignments and taking someone else's assignment and then passing it in as your own. So if you're taking a course that your friend took the year before and they have an awesome assignment that you want to use and they give it to you, but you take off their name and put your own name and hand it in to your instructor, that's plagiarism of authorship because you're saying you wrote that paper, but realistically your friend did. Don't do that. Instructors will catch you because they remember the good projects as well. So if someone got a good mark, they often use that as an example on SAM for other students to look at when they're creating a project. So don't do that. Plagiarism of self is when you actually plagiarize your own work. So if you are researching a topic and another class suggests a topic of interest and you want to use the same information, do not copy and paste your own work into the new document. You need to use new ideas, new material to ensure that you're not plagiarizing yourself. There are some serious consequences of plagiarizing. If you make a mistake when citing APA and you forget to add some content and you forget to add the citation, then you can get a 0 on the assignment. If you do something worse, such as buy a paper online or steal one from your friend or something not great, the offense is placed on your academic record and you often have to have a meeting with the learning manager and their boss and even higher ups at the college. And then depending if the situation is worse than that, you can be expelled. And if you're like, oh well, I don't have to go to Holland College, I'll go to Nova Scotia Community College. Because that offense is on your academic record, they can see that and they probably won't allow you into the school. So plagiarism does follow you around and it does make your life harder if you do want to do post-secondary education. So don't plagiarize, just use APA properly and get the help that you need if you're struggling, and that way you are safe. So APA citation, there's often some confusion about in-text citations and references list and the best way to do that. And APA citation is how to avoid plagiarism, so we're going to answer some of these questions. So I wanted to provide some examples of APA in-text citation, which we'll go through together. So here's an example of a quote. So you take the words from the author, exactly how they're written out, and you put quotation marks around it, And then you include the last name, the year, and the page number of where you got the information inside brackets. If you're using an online resource, you need to include the paragraph number. This is the formatting for a quote for any time you want to quote. So please be mindful of this formatting because it is applicable every time you want to quote something. Paraphrasing. So anytime you paraphrase, you still need to add an in-text citation even if you're using your own words because you got this information from somewhere else. Citing is something that you are constantly doing because you're not coming up with new ideas. And that is completely okay because that's part of your assignment. You're looking for research that others have done. And so because of that, you have to add citations in at the end of every single sentence. And this is how it's structured. You need the last name, comma, and the year between brackets. And students often think it looks ugly when there are citations at the end of every sentence. And the next slide will show you how to change up that structure. So you can see it's the same information. Harris, bracket, 2001, bracket, noted in his writing, continues on the information that is being paraphrased. This is another way to add APA into your writing without always having it at the end of your sentence. This is accurate and correct, so please feel free to do this if you don't want to have citations at the end of every single sentence. This is an example of my own writing to show that at the end of my sentences there's always a citation, and as you can see, it's pretty much every sentence, and that's okay. That's accurate and correct APA style. So don't be discouraged or think it looks wrong if there's too much citations because it's better to cite more than not enough because you don't want to get caught for plagiarism. So we'll go through reference lists. So the reference list book citation needs to have these 5 components in this order. So you have the author, last name, first initials in brackets. You need the date in brackets. You need to have the title that is italicized. You need the place of publication and the name of publisher. Those are the 5 components you need for a book reference. For a journal, you need to include these 7 things. You need the author, last name, first initials in brackets. You need the date in brackets. You need the article title, and it needs to be in sentence case, which means the only letter that is capitalized is the first letter of the title and after punctuation. Then you need the journal title, which is italicized, the volume number, the issue number in brackets, and the page range. I know these look very daunting when you look at the information that is included in a citation for a book and journal. However, databases and Google Scholar have citation buttons for you to use that do still need to be corrected because they're not always right, but it's an easy way for you to have a citation automatically made for you and you're using trusted information. That's what my next slide says. Use citation buttons. They're available through Holland College databases and Google Scholar. And so when I say Holland College databases, I mean going to the Library Services web page that is linked through the Holland College website and the Search Everything bar. That's a database. And there are always citation buttons there for you to use. So this is a website and how it looks in a reference list. So you need the author with the last name, first initials. You need the date in brackets, title of the web page italicized, and you need retrieved from and the URL. I know this looks simpler than the other 2 examples. However, we don't know if the information online is trustworthy. So when you're using online sources, you need to do a little bit more digging. You need to check the about page, you need to check if there's an author, and if there isn't, that is an indication that it might not be the best information to use. So just be mindful when using websites, because there isn't a citation button for you to automatically click on and get a citation completed for you, and we don't know if the information is trustworthy. This is an example of an APA reference list. It has to be in alphabetical order, and the entries have to have a hanging indent. And on the Library Services website, under Help with Your Paper, there are videos to show you how to create a hanging indent. It's very easy. It's part of the formatting of APA, and it's quite easy for you to do. I highly recommend knowing a little bit about APA, because if you look at a reference list whenever you've done some research and you found an article that you really like, you're able to pick out the other articles that might be of interest to you, because you know what they are, and you can go to Holland College databases and check if we have them. And that's by looking at the reference list. So the top entry, you can see Journal of Advanced Nursing. So you could go into that nursing journal and see if we have access to this specific article, or if not, then you can keep going down the list so you're not doing as many searches except for that one specific article. So that's very helpful for you to know how to do. So this is our home page, and be aware of research and study aid guides that we have prepared for you. So there's APA citation, the research process, and Help with Your Paper. This is super helpful to you. It's linked through the Holland College website, and there's tons of resources there for you to use. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at ermcisaac@hollandcollege.com. Good luck.